Welcome to the Curly Hair Q&A show. I am your host, Ken Nichols, and I'm here with Melanie Nichols. She is the founder of the Raw Hair Organic Salon in beautiful Naples, Florida. It's one of the top curly hair salons in the country, and Melanie is one of the top curl and hair color experts anywhere in the world. She is also the founder of the Raw Curls brand of natural and organic curly hair products that can be found at rawhairorganics.com. So welcome tonight. This is show number 213 if you've been following along, and we're grateful to have you all with us tonight. So we're here with the whole family. I've got Melanie Nichols here, and Murphy Murph is wandering around somewhere. She wasn't here. We'll see if she shows up. So how are you today, Melanie?
I'm good.
Good. Wonderful. It's busy down here in Southwest Florida. It's, I guess, I don't know if it's everywhere, but it's certainly down here. It is spring break week, and they're here.
Yeah.
And they're making it pretty miserable for the locals.
Well, it's not just spring break. It's everyone that is coming from other states because their states are closed down and it's warm here and they can do stuff. And I don't know. It's just really super crazy. And then their kids are here and their grandkids are here. And it just seems like this is the busiest and the most crowded I ever remember being
It's the
here.
worst I've ever seen it. Yeah. So getting around here, for those of you who haven't been around and don't know, this our studio here, where we produce the shows and the podcast, is a good hour, and well, this time of year, it's a good hour and 40 minutes from our house. So it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy getting here, and it's it'd be one thing if it was just a straight, step on the gas pedal and go. But it's stop, go, accident, stop, go, accident, accident. It's rough. But anyway, so welcome tonight. We live stream this show every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, just like we're doing now. And this is the internet's only and longest running curly hair Q&A shows that is run by curl industry experts. So this is your chance to ask industry experts your toughest curly hair questions, or just your easiest curly hair questions. We live stream every Monday night, like I said, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time in several different places, such as on Facebook in the Curly Girl support group, the Curly Hair Q&A group, the Diva Curl user support group, the Raw Curls user support group, the Curly Silvers support group, the Shea Moisture support. I don't think we're in the Shea Moisture support group tonight. I don't think we are. We are, and there's one viewer.
All right.
Thanks for joining us. And as long as there's one viewer that keeps showing up, we'll keep on in the Shea Moisture group. So, also on the Curly Hair Q&A show Facebook page, we are also live streaming on our YouTube channel, on the Curly Hair Q&A show YouTube channel. Any of these places you can ask your questions. And in the comment section, and Helen will be monitoring tonight the questions, and she'll get them to us if we don't see them. And Eric is running the board in the control room, so we got the whole gang. Hey, the gang's all here. We're also live streaming every Monday night on Instagram at Raw Curls. In addition to that, we are an award-winning podcast. Hooray! We've won the award as the #2 ranked hair industry podcast that you must listen to and subscribe to. So if you're a podcast person, listen and subscribe, please. We'd appreciate that a lot. And leave us a nice glowing review, if you would. We know our faults. You don't have to tell the world what they are. We already know what they are, right?
Yep.
I already know. Anyway, you can listen to this episode and all the previous archived shows as podcasts and the interviews on the Curly Hair Q&A show podcast every Monday night by about 10 p.m. Eastern time now. It's getting faster. The new episode goes live, and they are all archived there. There's several hundred episodes, and the dailies are also archived on the Curly Hair Q&A YouTube channel. You can listen to the podcast wherever you consume your podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Podcast Addict, Podbean, and SoundCloud. So there you have it. We've got a pretty big show tonight. We've got a topic I had been talking about for months. Actually, I've been talking about this for a long time. It's something that I'm passionate about. But at the same time, I just have not had the time to really address it the way that it needs to be addressed. And a couple of things happened over the last several weeks that have allowed me to push that forward. And we're going to start talking about that. We're going to break it down into 3 episodes, so it's a little more bite size. So tonight we're going to talk about the whole curly girl friendly product deal / water soluble deal. We're going to start talking about that today. And we're going to try to put it into layman's terms and we're going to try to give you an understanding when this is all said and done, that you'll, as a basic human being that's not in the business, you'll understand not only what you should be using and buying, but why. And you can determine what you're going to do from there. So yeah, we manufacture products. We manufacture a lot of products. 77 as of right now, soon to be 78. But this isn't about this. This isn't going to be a giant sales presentation. And if you're watching the live stream live right now, you can look at our desk and you'll see. I spy, right? It's kind of like that, eh? I see 2 that we manufacture in this group of at least, there's got to be 30 here, at least, that you can see in the camera. But, tonight we're not going to go into individuals, and that's going to be left for later. And you'll understand why we're doing it that way. And it's because it's supposed to be knowledge based. I mean, the show's supposed to be knowledge based, and frankly, so should your product selections. They should be not, they should be knowledge based. So anyway, so how was your week at the salon? I saw that you had some pretty interesting makeovers. You know what? The one that I saw that probably got the most compliments or comments in general, not just compliments, but comments in general, was a transformation that you did at the salon on a curly hair woman where it looked like she had no neck. And when you were finished, it looked like she had the neck of like an Egyptian princess where they used to stretch them. It looked like you added like 6 inches to her neck.
Really?
Yes. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
It was, she lost 10 years easy.
What?
Easy. This would have been just in the last couple of days.
Dark hair, curly?
Dark hair, yeah.
Shorter?
Actually, I think in the original pictures, she looked, it might have even had a little bit of yellow or brownish to it, something like that. But I don't remember the person's name.
Let me look. I didn't.
Maybe I
post
can
that
look
many
too.
This week.
Well, somebody
so
did. Is
busy.
your assistant back to work?
Yeah. Well, she came back on Saturday.
Yeah. Well,
This is the only one I think that I posted.
I can actually.
This.
It's this one. That's the one.
Okay.
I mean, look at that middle picture of the transformation, and look at the one above. She's got no neck.
That was the one that I said, cut your hair shorter for summer.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, actually, that's interesting, and it would have went along with our last week's topic, which we kind of discussed after the fact of maybe doing a redo, because we thought more people would send in questions about hair color, and then realize maybe they're looking for me to talk about different topics with hair color. So anyway, this client came in, and I've done her hair before, but it's been, I think I haven't seen her in a year because of COVID and all that. So it had been a long time. And as you could see, her hair had grown out. But she also wanted to discuss color. So number one, she gave me the authority to do whatever I wanted. She said she was ready to go shorter. Summer's coming, her hair grows fast. So I was like, okay, she wanted a different style. To me, it was already pretty short, but she's very petite, and I said her hair is fine. So cutting it shorter and a little bit slightly angled, inverted from back to front would give it a push up, and as you said, expose her neck. That wasn't really the goal, but just cutting it shorter to bulk it up, push it up, give her some more volume and fullness with her fine curls. And then as far as hair color, this was so interesting because she has her natural color, which is a brunette. It's a definite, just medium brown, medium to dark brown. And then she has one of those white patches in the front and just a few gray hairs
Like
along the
Stacy?
top. Like Stacey London. And she came in and said she wanted to have silver hair. And I was like, you want to look gray, and so we talked about um, what I would need, the process that I would need to go through in order to achieve that. And in doing so, of course, she decided not to do it because most people, I guess, don't realize, okay, when you come in, you don't just put like silver color on the hair. Typically, that's, depending on what base you're starting with, but a dark base like this, you don't, we didn't even used to have silver colors, but they're more like fashion colors, and we can create, that look to match grays and all, and what people would call silver or gray.
Hmm.
But I'm like, why would you want to do that? Your hair looks good naturally. Like I said, she just had that patch in the front and then a few grays sprouting off of that on the top. And she said, and then she's like, well, the gray doesn't really bother me. And I was like, well,
Really?
then, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Because I said, well, do you want to just do some highlights or some lowlights to blend, those grays that you have? And, in her mind, she wanted me to put silver in her hair. And so, in order to do that on dark hair, you have to strip and remove all that pigment first. So, you literally have to like bleach out the hair and then go back and put the silver. So it's like a bleach and tone, whether you highlight and tone or do a full head bleach and tone. So that's a really involved and expensive and harsh process. So I am glad that I was able to explain it to her, and but I realized a lot of people don't understand that. They just think they can come in and we can just sometimes put these colors in their hair, and they don't understand what it takes in order to do that.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
hmm And
Yeah.
that was even on natural hair. Like it gets even more complicated when you have color on
If
the
one
hair.
that's been colored
hmm
already. Yeah.
hmm
So
Yeah.
that can be an expensive service, huh?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. And it takes these
Is it a
services,
one trip service?
not necessarily. I mean, when someone has that color on the hair, that's like those people that are transitioning, going back to their natural gray when they have a hair color on. A lot of times it takes 2, 3, 4 appointments in order to be able to get it to that point with keeping the integrity of the hair. Um, you know, there, was someone that was calling the salon for an appointment that wanted color and highlights, from dark hair to light hair, very blonde and a curly cut, and uh, felt like it should only take an hour to do that. That's unrealistic. It doesn't happen like that. First of all, the colors and everything have to typically process for 30 to 45 minutes. Highlights and those things. You never know how long that's going to take. Especially going from darker to lighter. And yeah, it's just, that's not even possible. So, it takes a long time. A lot of times I would book something like that at the end of my day and block out 4 hours. And yeah,
Mm,
that's going to be a lot of money.
that's a lot.
hmm
Hmm. Well, the client that you did that looked that looked great, and a
Ah,
lot of people really commented on
oh,
it, and
good.
that that look of that longer of the longer neck really
Hmm.
changed her look. Really did.
That's funny because some people really want to make sure that they don't expose their neck. They feel funny about it.
That's
They're
strange
always
because
like, oh, keep it, covering my neck.
yeah, that was um that was uh I don't want to say a sign of royalty, but it was very much in demand to have the lengthened neck like that. Very,
Mm-hmm.
very much so.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like big butts are now, you know,
Mm.
things change.
And long eyelashes and big lips and
Yes, the whole thing. Right. It's like cycles, eh?
mm,
Kind of.
kind of.
So anyway, so tonight I've got a big announcement. I've got a big announcement, and Melanie hasn't even heard all of this yet. So she's
Mm.
going to hear it with you.
Wow.
And this is breaking news within the last half an hour. So tonight, the show is sponsored by the Raw Curls Academy. The Raw Curls Academy, what is it? Well, it is a 2-day curly and textured hair cutting workshop that is hosted by Melanie Nichols, the creator of the Raw Curls Cut and the Raw Curls products. And it is for licensed stylists across the country. And we have several stops and several 2-day classes throughout the country, including at the Raw Hair Organic Salon in beautiful Naples, Florida, coming up in April, right? I think 26th.
25th,
I can't remember.
26th.
25th, 26th, or
Which
26th,
we
27th.
are going to need models. I have some
Yeah.
people on hold from the last class, so I need to contact them. But,
Yeah.
they may not be able to make it, so we will
Yeah.
need a couple models for this as well.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I just announced this within the last 30 minutes or so, and I already have 3 models for the new upcoming class this is the big announcement, July 31st and August 1st at the Uptown Curl Salon in beautiful Stillwater, Minnesota. So if you are a licensed professional stylist and would like some top-notch curly hair training, the most comprehensive curly hair training on the planet, you can join us. Go to rawcurls.com/academy and sign up for that 2-day workshop. We'll be rolling up in the curl bus. It's got a nice big parking lot for us to park in too. Easy to move around in.
Very
It's
good.
nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I hope those dates work because you didn't discuss that with me, and those look different than what you've given me before.
Nope, that is the one.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay.
And we have 3 models already.
Okay. Because we blocked off the dates that you gave me. So if you made changes.
That was a blocked off date.
Okay.
Yep, that was it.
Okay.
So
Ooh,
yeah,
well,
July
that'll be
3rd.
fun.
Yeah, July 31st and August 1st, and this is
Makes
funny.
me want to sing that song, Uptown Girl.
Right,
Mhm.
pretty much. Yeah. So that's where we'll be. We'll be in Stillwater, Minnesota. So again, like I said, if you are a licensed professional stylist and would like the most comprehensive curly hair training on the planet, come hang out with Melanie and. I don't know if Christy's going to be there or not. She didn't say.
I'm sure she will.
She's throwing us the keys, and we're going to throw a big party.
Wow.
Yep.
Yay.
And take over a parking lot. It'll be
Oh.
fun. So
I wonder if Evie will be back up there.
we will find out. But there's actually wait till you see there's another question coming up tonight that's related to this that I swear came up within the last 5-6 hours. And like I said, this new class at the end of July, literally it just happened. It was just confirmed. We just got it on the books. So we're looking forward to that.
Press.
Hot off the press. So Melanie Murphy and I will be rolling up in a curl bus and training up some new curly hair stylist, which is great.
Very
And
good.
maybe
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be
Where
be fun.
else are we going to visit when we're up there?
It depends. We'll see. And actually, here I was going to get into talking about the curly girl method stuff and the water soluble whole stuff. I was going to start out with that, but I think I'll skip around because this question that I was telling you about that came in. Bear with me a second. This is funny. I couldn't believe it when it came up. Hold on.
Should I share a fun fact?
Let me
You're
do
fumbling?
this. No, let me do this one first because this actually has a fun fact in it. Maria Glorioso, who is in one of the curly hair groups on Facebook today, she would like to know, Melanie, can you recommend a good curly hair stylist in the Milwaukee, Waukesha area? I can't seem to shake the frizzy triangle I keep getting with my cuts. And I said, well, here's a fun fact. I said, Melanie is from Genesee, Wisconsin, which is in Waukesha County. And she's probably going to be driving right through there somewhere around July something something and August something something.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the fun fact is we just changed our
Right.
class from Milwaukee to Minnesota.
Right. Yeah, that's the
Too
thing.
bad, so
Well,
sad.
well, not that. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. Just thought I'd bring that
That
up.
is true. Well,
Yeah.
I grew up in West Dallas, and then we moved we lived in a couple different places. We lived in
Yep.
Franklin, and then we lived in Genesee, which is part of Waukesha County.
Yeah. It's a little
So,
tiny little.
little
It's not even a.
hidden jewel.
God, is it a hidden jewel?
Yeah, it was great. I don't even.
Yep.
I don't know how I stumbled across that. I was just driving through the area, and I don't remember why I drove through that neighborhood.
That's how you told me. It was just a complete accident.
Yeah. And
Everybody says, "You mean Genesee Depot?" Nope, it's Genesee. It's this little tiny,
is that where
unincorporated
the 10 Chimneys
town.
is? Is that what it's called?
Genesee Depot is there.
Yeah.
It's around the corner. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Interesting.
No-
Well,
we had a 1953 plow truck that plowed the streets. I laughed the first time I saw it. Big snowstorm. I'm like, I cannot
We
believe that thing
did?
is still
what are you
running.
talking about?
The town of Genesee was so small they didn't even buy a plow truck. They had a plow truck that
Oh.
was literally almost 50 years old,
Oh, wow. Hmm.
and it looked it.
Hmm.
So
I
anyway,
don't remember that. I guess
I
didn't
do.
see it.
but they always had the roads plowed. That's the thing, because there was only like 3. This little town.
That's true.
Anyway, so yeah. So you got a fun
Ah.
fact for us tonight besides that? Anything good?
That is fun.
I know. I thought so too. So
But to answer that question, I don't.
yeah. Sorry, Maria.
There are a couple curly hair salons though in that area. I know there are because I've had clients that have their like daughters go to them. So just do some searching because I know there's 2, if not 3.
We
in
said
that
we'd train up
area.
stylists there. If we
Yeah.
could get a whole salon,
Yeah.
we would come to the Milwaukee, Waukesha area, which is real. It just drives me crazy because for those of you who don't know that area, it's not even 90 minutes out of Chicago. And there's just not it's a big metropolitan area. Those 2 counties together, that's a big metropolitan area. And there's virtually hardly anything for curly hair salons. I don't get it.
Yeah, and I tried to offer for my friend to go through it, and she
Wouldn't
didn't
do it.
seem to be interested.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And I think she retired now.
Yeah, but it's definitely a market that could be tapped into for sure.
For sure. I mean, I cannot understand it because there's such a large ethnic population, in Milwaukee, north and east sides, and even the far south side, with the Hispanic community. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of stylists.
Yeah, well, I think they go to different salons.
Good. I don't know.
Yeah, there's people definitely that do, like ultra curly hair,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Well,
But
who would be good? Would be a good salon for that would be Stella
yeah,
because of where they are.
yeah, yeah. I think my cousin found someone that does curly hair, if I remember right. I will have to ask. We'll have to
I
find
have
out.
to ask.
Yeah.
Or maybe ask Auntie Heather, see what she says. She might
Well,
know.
Heather she doesn't have naturally curly hair.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So,
Oopsie.
forgot about that.
But anyway, yeah. So my fun fact is today is actually Jessica, my salon assistant's birthday. So happy birthday, Jessica. She's a
birthday.
member of our group and she's a longtime client and now working for me and part of the team. And so we just want to wish her a happy birthday. We celebrated my birthday, her birthday, and Carol's birthday because Carol has one coming up as well, the other office staff. And we're all March babies. So we decided to go for one late lunch, early dinner yesterday and celebrate all of them together. So that was fun.
And Murphy and I stayed home and chilled together. It was nice.
Yeah.
We had a
Yeah.
good day.
So we celebrated early. We had cake for my birthday and now, but it's kind of carrying on the entire month.
Yeah, birthday month.
Yeah. But today's the actual day. So
Yeah. All right. Okay, great. So again, don't forget if you are from the Stillwater, Minneapolis, St. Paul area, and would like to be a model, you can PM me here on Facebook or somewhere. You can find me. or my assistant, you can send to orders@rawhairorganics.com. You could send her a message if you'd like to be a model, a curly hair model, and it will be on August 1st. We'll need you in the afternoon. For how many hours typically, Melanie?
Mm.
Do you remember?
About 4.
About 4 hours. 4 hour. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long we need you
Yep.
for. All right. Okay. All right. So let's get into the big topic. And like I said, we're going to break this down into the next 3 episodes. So we're going to talk about this for a while. And we're going to get into the basics of it. For quite some time, there has been a lot of discussion online, and this is everywhere. This is everywhere from the curly hair and natural hair Facebook groups to Instagram and influencers and people with followings, I guess would say it, as well as YouTubers and bloggers as well. And the discussion is basically ends up kind of intertwined, and it's what is the curly girl method, and how do I pick products? Now, the way we're gonna start talking about this is I'm just gonna lay a basic foundation. So I know a lot of you are probably going to be listening to this or watching this, and you're going to have no idea about any of this, and this is going to be the first time you've heard it. There's also going to be a fair amount of people who are going to have some understanding, but not a lot. And then there's going to be people who know a lot or think they know a lot. You are not the people that we are going to be focusing on here. We're going to be focusing on people who don't know anything at all or are kind of in the middle that know just enough to get themselves in trouble. In addition to that, I'm going to preface this whole thing over the next 3 episodes, and I'm going to do it next week and the following week. We're going to talk in a lot of generalizations, because we have to. So we'll be specific when we need to be, but there's going to be a lot of things where I'm sure there's going to be people who know a lot of this inside and out, or think they do, one or the other. And you're going to want to point things out and want to correct things. Remember, we're not trying to educate you. So we may say things that you think, that it's not that we don't know. We're trying to make this simple, because that's what we've seen the problem being over the last several years. And like I said at the beginning of the show, this has been something that has been weighing on my shoulders for a long time. There's actually been some curly hair bloggers and YouTubers who will occasionally actually hound me about this and say, hey, I thought you were going to put this together. I thought you were going to break this down. Why did that never happen? And the reason that it didn't happen is time. I just don't have the time to do it. And I think what a lot of people want is they want something like a curl scan or a curl bot, one of those apps that tells you, is a product, curly girl friendly or not. And that may have been okay in the past, but that's not working now, because the industry is the curly hair industry in general, it's evolving, and we're learning more, and products are evolving as well. So we're going to try to lay a real basic foundation, and then next week and the week after, we're really going to get into the meat of it. We're going to start talking about individual things, and I'm going to show you, I might even introduce it a little bit tonight. I'll talk a little bit about it, but I'm going to show you what we've been working on here that I believe is it's the 2021 version and moving forward of how products should be categorized. I think that's been the problem. So let's just start in general. What a lot of people will ask, what is the curly girl method? The curly girl method in general was first introduced as such in about 2001. And it was when the founder of the Divashan salon and the Diva Curl brand of curly hair products, Lorraine Massey, had come up with the idea of what the Curly Girl method was. Okay. And she wrote a book called The Curly Girl Handbook. And if you are watching the live stream, you'll see the cover of the original. That's the original book from 2001. And in that book, she basically proclaimed that there was the Curly Girl method and how she saw it and how she coined it. And then Curly Girl approved products basically in that. So remember, this is, let's call it 2000 just for, a rough year, let's just call it 2000. So we can say, a good 20-year period here. Right. As she saw it in the Curly Girl method, you wouldn't use any sulfates, products with sulfates, any products with silicones, and you wouldn't use any heat tools, and you wouldn't shampoo with a shampoo or a cleanser that had a sulfate in it. It was basically, that method was built around washing with conditioner, which we now usually will call co-washing. Is that how you would agree with that to this point? As that, am I stating that simply enough?
Kind of, yeah. That's, yeah. Sulfates are what makes a shampoo lather. So they were trying to get away from, that thought process, because at that time, there weren't many sulfate-free shampoos. So, that's what shampoos were made of, because it gives the lather, it helps it to bubble and clean the hair.
Yeah. And if there weren't, and shampoos that didn't have sulfates in them certainly didn't lather.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
At all.
Right. So, and the reason they were getting away from that, and she was creating this Curly Girl method, is because, that's harsh on the hair. It's drying, it's dehydrating. So, that's where they created their, no poo products.
Which were the originals, yeah.
Yeah, part of the original line. So, and then just changing the way people think and, thought about their curls and how to take care of them. But also, you touched on, no heat and things like that. But also, they were big on like no, just using your hands, your fingers, and, not using
no
any
combs, no brushes, nothing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those were the basic tenets of it. Was that, and it caught on. So there are several methods or steps involved, I should say, in the Curly Girl method. Let's call it that, the Curly Girl method. And at this point, though, we're only going to concentrate on products because that's what this topic is about. And we can discuss techniques maybe somewhere down the line. That has been hotly debated over the last couple of years. Frankly, as our products, which is why we're having this discussion. And again, it's not, and techniques, it's not, this isn't, and so don't, if you're watching this or listening to this and you're thinking that this is going to be a bash fest on anybody or anything, it's not. It is not. It's things have evolved, and that's why we're talking about it. Because as I said, I've talked about, vloggers and YouTubers have actually hounded me about this for at least 4 years, because everybody who's in this, in this part of the business has seen this coming. More products have been developed. There's been different ingredients and things that have been developed, and all of a sudden it's created confusion. And it's not the fault of anybody per se. It's just things, things change.
There just wasn't that much available, before when all this got started. And now, of course, when something catches on, then, you have everybody jumping on the bandwagon. So every company wants to come out with a curl product.
Right.
Because they see, that money, the dollar signs, that it's, the hot thing that right now in the industry. But Yeah, same thing with techniques though. We have evolved, Sherry from Diva and I have talked about that a lot. Like, things have been changed since that book has been written. People come in the salon and they reference things, I'm doing this and that and whatever from the book, and it's like, oh, that's great. That's a good start. But now, we've changed, to doing this, and
Sure. Sure.
so just like I was kind of talking about this weekend with you and with the girls, you know, there's sometimes you have things in common, with someone, 10 years ago, but, you know, or like this book, you're following a method, but then over 10 years, things change. Like, I've evolved into, different things that were different directions we're taking the salon or the business, and same thing with the curly industry. Like we've
Hmm.
evolved with different techniques because we're constantly improving and learning and sharing different things that,
Yeah.
are making us better technicians, and helping train, each individual how to take care of their hair, and for professionals how to cut the hair and style the hair, so it's not that the old methods are bad, there's just new and improved.
It's just involved, yeah. And the Sherry, for those of you who don't know, Sherry that Melanie was referring to is Sherry Harbinger, who's a friend of ours, and she was one of the founding members of the Diva Curl Academy.
Yeah, with
So
Lorraine and
yeah, with Lorraine and Dennis,
mhm.
um, and she's a friend of ours, and we've had this, we've had this discussion many times. Uh, and it's a friendly discussion. So to that point, back in the early 2000s, the woman who really started the curly girl method, or not curly girl method, the curly girl uh, evolution, I guess, as we see it today. Not. I mean, I we don't need you to message us and say it started in 1950. No. The way we see it today was also a woman from New York City who had a salon for curly hair only, and her name is Weedad Steven. Weedad Steven, as in Weedad Products, right? She's a friend of ours as well. She's been on this show twice, I believe. And at the time when Lorraine was doing that, um, Weedad, she actually told us. She said, I'd been doing it almost 20 years
Mm.
before Lorraine started doing this. And she said, there's some things I agreed with and some things I didn't, you know? And, and right there, that shows you that, that things can clearly be different and things can clearly change. Um, and as far as products, there are some things that Lorraine didn't believe in that Weedad believed in, that I think still to this day she believes in.
Mm.
And we won't talk about that now, but I just wanted to make that point that really the two biggest players in the biggest city in the country, the people who really gave legs to this whole, curly hair movement, um, agreed on some things, didn't agree on a lot. It's doesn't make either one of them bad, doesn't make either one of them wrong. It doesn't. So, so now that Curly Girl Method book that I showed you has been updated, I believe, 2 or 3 times. And the one that most of you probably who have seen this book or have referenced it, this one. And if you're watching the live stream, you see the picture. That's the one that you know.
That's the one that I had.
That's the one that you have. That was actually the second.
Because
And
everybody comes in wanting that haircut.
everybody comes in wanting that cut. That is such
I
a
do
pretty
that
cut.
cut a lot.
Yeah, that is such a pretty cut.
Mhm.
Every time I see that woman, I think, yep, I'm like, that's a great cut for that woman. It really is. But that, so that book actually was updated 2 or 3 times to the best of my knowledge. For some reason, I'm almost thinking 4, but I think that's wrong. But
I
but
don't know.
again, so you're probably thinking, okay, so why did this book have to be updated? Well, same reason that we're talking now, because things change.
Mhm.
There's things that that have certainly changed. And if I'm not mistaken, Melanie, you can correct me, about 2006 maybe, um, the 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 Divashan salon and the Diva Curl Academy, where they were, they still do to this day, where they train stylists to be curly hair specialists. Their go-to number one technique that they taught was called the curl by curl method, which a lot of people still to this day reference. As of about 2006, I think, right? Is that about right?
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
2006, they weren't even teaching that anymore. But
No, they still were, because
or
when
it
I
wasn't
started,
it wasn't the primary thing, right?
no, it was that they switched after that, because when I started training with them, that was still what they were teaching.
So shortly after that, it changed, and it wasn't their main technique that they were teaching. What's interesting is you'll see that there's people that still have those older books, because you'll watch people post when this discussion comes up in the curly hair groups or on Instagram, and this comes up, and people will reference this, and they will say it as if it's true gospel, that a real diva cut, if you're going to get a real diva cut, it's done dry and it's done curl by curl. And that's half right. It's half right. It's just and it's because it's evolved. It's not and it's not that technique was wrong. It's just evolved.
Part
It's
of
just
what
evolved.
happened was that it was difficult to teach, because it was more freehand. There wasn't like a roadmap to follow.
Yeah.
And that's hard to teach people that. So they tweaked the system to be more curl groupings and have more of a map system to follow, so that it's more easy to train other people.
Yeah, our friend Ron Suriano from the Moisture Salon in Schenectady, New York. I've heard him talk about this in the past. We've known him a long time, well over 10 years, and I've heard him talk about this in the past, that he's the kind of stylist that he likes the art / freehand of things, and he's not a big fan of here's the roadmap, or here's the follow that. That's not his thing. He's more of, I'm an artist, give me the, and that, so that makes sense. Melanie, so when that changed, was the new technique, which I believe is still the technique that's the primary technique that the Diva Salon teaches, is that easier to learn and to do than the curl by curl cutting?
Like I feel like it is, and that I had been doing that on my own actually before they even started it, because it was just something.
I remember that.
Yeah,
That was one of the things when you came up with the raw curls cut and all that. I remember that, because I remember people who had come to your class and you were like, see,
yeah,
now they're teaching it.
yeah. It was
And you were teaching
interesting that
before
they
that.
made that change too. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is, especially like I say, when you're trying to share that with other people, it's hard to just, teach something that's more freehand and visual. And, because it can be more of a standard system, and then people can get creative from there as they grow on their own. That's how it is a lot of times. Like, you take the basics, and then you can, put your creativity and your artistic touch on top of that. So, but it's always good to have a basic system to start with.
Yeah.
So I do think that's a good thing.
Yeah. So, products in general. Now let's go into the products, and we'll talk a bit about that. And like I said, in the next 2 episodes, we'll go into more and more detail. So, over the last 25 years, obviously the techniques have changed. Back in those early days, there was only a handful of products in the mainstream that were made for curly or textured hair. And I say the mainstream, I in the past, when we've had these little bits in the shows that we've done over the years and talked about this, I've had people say, they'll tell me that, 40 years ago, there was a woman in a kitchen in New York doing blah, 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 blah. And I've heard that story many times. But for this discussion, we're going to talk about mainstream. There were only a couple. Diva Curl was making a line that had only had a couple of products. It's not like it is now. It was only a couple, 4, if I remember right. Is that
They
right?
started with one.
With one, that's right. Sherry told us
Hmm
that they started with one,
And
and
it
then
was the spray, I think like Mr. Right or something.
yeah, that's right. It was, which is funny. We'll have her back on in the near future, especially now that she's living down here,
Mm.
close to us. We'll have her on again. She can tell us a little more of the history. You can hear it from her. But over the last probably 5 years, there's been a plethora of new curly hair product lines that have come out. A large majority of them are by big industry manufacturers. And the reason is that they saw this, this market start to take off, and they wanted to get on the bandwagon. There was also some smaller indie brands, which is really like ours, like the brand that we make, that came out during that same time, or even a little longer. We're what, about 10 years old, 12 years old? What are we? Something like that. I don't even remember, because we had another brand as well
2007.
before this.
Oh, you mean for the Rockers?
Yeah, it's got to be at least 10, eh?
Yeah.
But you started to see some of these smaller brands come out, and they started making products that were better than what you were seeing in the mainstream. And I'll give you an example of how lucrative this market became. Diva Curl products in the last 6 years, the product company has sold 3 times.
Hmm.
All the first 2 times,
Thrice. We were just talking about it.
thrice in the last 6 years. 2 of those sales were to investment banks. They weren't even to hair product companies. They were to investment banks. That's how lucrative it had become. And now it's owned by one of the largest hair product manufacturers in the world, based in Germany. So it's based and made in Germany now. And it's
Really?
the same company that owns, like, I think, Pureology and Sexy Hair,
Wow.
Big Sexy Hair.
They're based out of Germany.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
didn't know that.
Dusseldorf.
Oh.
That's fun to say. Dusseldorf. But there's, several of those companies little by little started to come out with, and they're still doing it. And those bigger companies, I'm going to say it, they're kind of wrecking this. They're making it really difficult for the consumer, because they're doing things like, I said I wasn't going to start talking about individual products, because they're doing things, they're taking advantage, and they're putting curl on the label. And I've got several products on this desk right here that make hair products, and now they've just plastered curl on the label. And we're even seeing that with some smaller indie brands as well, where they're really not looking at the market. They really don't know the market. They're really not formulating for the market. They're formulating for the dollar. And that has caused a big, big problem as the world of curly girls in general has grown, because they're coming into this. They want to embrace their curls, and there's all they're looking for when they go down a shelf or an aisle at Target or Walmart or whatever. They see curl on the label. They see a price that looks pretty darn good. They're buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is screwing us up big, big time.
We just saw one yesterday. Jessica and I stopped at Target, and there was a big display that we came face to face with, and I forget the name of it. But it attracted her right away. It was like, it's pretty, it looks fun, it's curly,
Yep.
but then as we looked at it more, you have to like buy 2 separate things, mix them together, which I don't know if people are interested in that, but
I don't know.
yeah, interesting. But just the display and the colors and the packaging, it
Yeah.
looks fun. So
Yeah.
that grabs people, and then they want to buy it and try it.
Yeah. Yeah. They and that's really kind of screwing this up. What's making it even worse is, over the last 15 years or less, I'm going to say 10 years. In the last 10 years, and I'll tell you a little bit about my background first and our background. Melanie and I, for at least the last 12 years or so, we've been manufacturing hair products. At least the last 10, oh God, more than that. At least the last 10,
Since
the curly hair line.
2007.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We manufacture skincare products, pet care products, a lot in the natural and organic space. So we've got a lot of experience. I came from basically the chemical industry, and I've got well over 30 years experience in that, and I came from the venture capital world. So I understand how this stuff is made. I understand how this stuff is sourced. I know where the ingredients come from. I know how to buy them. I know how to sell them. I know how to make them. Uh, I know how to distribute them. I know how this whole deal works. I know how these companies are bought and sold. I know a lot about it. And what you started seeing in the curly hair market is, in the hair products market in general, you started to see people creating blends of ingredients, which has always been a thing, but you started to see it in the curly hair market much, much more. So what was happening is they were making blends that an average person would look at, and if they understood the three basic principles of Lorraine Massey's, what's curly girl friendly, right? They would look curly girl friendly, and they still do. And that's been probably the biggest downfall, is there's really been nobody out there who's really broken it down and explained and said, hey, yeah, on the face of it, this looks fine, but it's not, and here's why. And that's why I've said, and we've discussed this, about why we're gonna redo this, because it needs to be redone. The market has changed. Just taking those two or three basic principles and calling a product good for curly hair, it doesn't work.
That's what I was just
Doesn't
going to
work.
say. You're kind of making it sound complicated. Like, so just because there's products that say they're for curly hair doesn't mean that they're good for you.
Yeah. And
Good
just
for your
because,
curls.
right, and just because you don't see a couple of ingredients that on the back of the ingredient label glaring out at you, that wouldn't be friendly to this curly girl method, doesn't mean that the ingredients that are in it are. That's the big sticking point, and that's where people get really frustrated, because they don't know what they don't know. I see it, this is why lately you've seen, like, if you're watching on the live stream, you see all these products. There's probably, of the, I don't know what, 25 or 30 products that are in front of us right now, I would say probably close to half of them are new within the last 5 years, which is crazy. And there's some of them that there's a lot of people who are, curly hair people, swear by them.
Hmm.
And they wouldn't, if I had curly hair, they wouldn't touch mine. But again, it's because I know, and the average layperson doesn't know. So we're gonna get more into that.
But the bottom line is,
next
and
week.
whatever you, whatever your opinion is, and whatever we're gonna share, I always say the bottom line is, I mean, if you're happy using the products you're using and you think your hair looks good and you're fine with it, then keep using it.
But you
Regardless
need
of
to know
what we, yeah.
you need to know the long-term results.
Well, yeah, but even
Or,
still, regardless of what we're seeing, like if somebody maybe, they feel their curls look really good and they're happy, then fine, so be it. We're just giving you the knowledge, of these products.
yeah, because as time goes on, I mean, there's short-term results, and then there's long-term consequences as well.
Well,
And those are the things that people are
yeah,
missing.
one of the funny thing is, people, this has been like the oldest saying around, people are like, oh, I use a product for so long and then it stops working. That's a fallacy. What's happening is you're getting buildup on your hair, and that's why your hair is not responding to it anymore, because it cannot get through that buildup. It's causing your hair to be weighed down, or other issues. It's not that the product stopped working. It's just that, well, it is kind of, but it's because you have buildup. So
Yeah.
it's not that you need to switch to another product. That was always the belief. Oh, I can only use this product for so long. Then I've got to try something else. No. Like we've been using, and my Raw Curls users have used those products for years, no problems. You no need to switch. The hair only gets better and better and better, healthier and healthier. The curls look amazing,
Yeah.
because there's no buildup happening on the hair because they are truly water
Yeah.
soluble, and
Yeah.
you don't get that. So, but that. I mean, that's been ingrained in all of our heads, I think. I remember that growing up. It's like, oh, this stopped working for me. I got to try something else. No, that's just because,
You mean my cholesterol?
yeah, yeah, and not your blood cholesterol.
No, no, no. I had the cholesterol
Mm. Why? What were you doing with that?
because I saw it was on sale and it was cheap.
You were using it like a conditioner?
Yes. I didn't. I thought I told that
It's
story.
like total
My
wax.
my
You
my
did.
friends. Yeah, my friend Scott Schultz's girlfriend comes over, use the shower after jet skiing in Lake Michigan. Comes out of the bathroom. What the hell are you doing with this? I'm like, what do you mean?
We use it
She's
in
like, your
beauty school for
bathtub's a
mannequins.
skating rink. I'm like, what are you talking
Ugh.
about? I had no idea. She was just disgusted with me.
Mm.
Didn't I tell you that? Did I tell you about
Yes.
when she walked over with
Oh,
her
no.
finger?
No.
Oh, she walked over with her fingernail.
What do you mean?
She walked over with her fingernail and went like this in my scalp. And she
Ew.
said, Ken, this is gross.
That is gross. That's all gross.
It still took me at least a month or two to change because I want to throw that $1.99 jar of cholesterol out.
Oh, my God.
She's like disgusted with me.
Uh-huh.
Just like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I had no idea. You don't know what you don't know. And that's why this show is great because we're going to teach you this kind of stuff. So
Okay.
next week we're going to stop there. Next week we're going to go into how we're going to break this down and I'm going to tell you what to look for and why, and what to watch out for and why. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to break down products for curly hair into our 3-tier system. And we're going to do it by brands, and we're going to do it by ingredients. No, I'm sorry. We're going to do it by brands, and we're going to do it by products. So
Oh, good.
like not all brands, for example, not all brands have products that would be, to me, considered all top tier. They might have 10 products in their line. 9 of them are great. One of them to us wouldn't be acceptable. So that's why it needs to be broken down. So people don't look, because that's the other thing, is that people are looking at brands and they're saying, well, that's, such and such is curly hair, it's curly girl friendly, blah, 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 blah. So they buy the whole line. And then they go through the thing like happened a year or so ago, and all of a sudden people's hair starts falling out, and they're narrowing it down to a couple of products. Doesn't mean the whole line's garbage,
Right.
but there's some products that you should steer away from, and that's why we're going to break it down into three tiers, and I'm going to share that
Not
with
all
you.
brands and products are
Created
created equally.
Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, so let's get into some questions. And that's the other thing before I forget. So if you have questions about this topic that you want us to address in the next 2 weeks as we go through this, and I've got somebody, I don't have time to do it, but I have somebody who's told me they have the skill set that we can make this into and really, really cheap. So like no money out of our pocket to actually do it, and make it into an actual app.
Cool.
Where they can look at that and say, oh, does this fit into the 3 tiers of the app, and where does it
That's
fit?
cool.
I know. So anyway.
So
I'll tell you about it.
yeah, because it gets, that's why it's overwhelming for people, because everyone feels like they need to be a chemist and understand all the ingredients, and that's going to be nearly impossible. Like to try to learn what every ingredient is and if it's good or if it's bad, or that's really difficult and complicated for people. So hopefully we can simplify that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get into some other just regular curly hair related questions. And here's another fun one. That's why I said this is interesting tonight, because there's been some interesting questions, interesting stuff coming up. Okay. Nicole Stewart posted a couple pictures of herself today, and she made the post looking for advice. She said, any advice for this hot mess of hair? I use Giovanni Eco Chic shampoo and conditioner and orange marmalade gel. The Eco Chic shampoo and conditioner is
Do we have that?
Yes, we have that here. It's from TJ Maxx, and we're gonna talk about that. That's a sacred cow for some people, and we're gonna We're going to take that cow out back next week and talk about it.
Mhm.
We're going to give him
Be
a
nice
talking
to
to.
the cow.
We're going to give that cow a talking to. But anyway,
But
so
I'm just looking at 50. Okay. 50-50 balance. What the hell does that mean?
well,
And then hydrating, clarifying.
it makes no sense. I know.
Okay.
We're going to talk more about
Like
that.
I would stop right there.
I'd stop right there. Yeah.
Hydrating, clarifying.
Be here on next week's show. We're going to talk more about that and get into some individuals. But yeah, that would be one thing, Nicole, that I would stop. But the reason that I'm telling you is she posted 2 pictures of herself. Melanie and I spent a number of years in the UPC. We know a Pentecostal woman when we see one.
Oh, they had their hair looks like mine.
Oh no, she had it down, but faster butt. It's.
I look
I'm
very
telling you,
Pentecostal today.
I'm telling you, it's an old. The picture she posted. I actually had to giggle. It is a it's a picture of an older Brianna.
Oh, really?
Just like her.
I tell you what,
So
though,
what do
those
you do?
Pentecostal girls are good at doing their hair, man.
They are good at it.
'Cause
No
they
doubt.
don't, yeah,
No
like
doubt.
they can really do some wicked updos, and yeah, they're good at styling their hair because
And their
they
friend's
can't
hair.
cut it. Yeah.
Yep.
So, they
So
spend
that's So that's I guess that's the question. That's why I phrased it to you that way. And I actually said that to her. I'm like, I know a Pentecostal woman when I see one, so I know Melanie can help you with this. So you know what her barriers and restrictions are. So I'm sure you have a pretty good idea of what her hair's looking like.
Oh, I don't get to see the pictures.
No.
Oh.
So what do you have for suggestions for somebody like that who's basically probably not cutting it and it's beyond the butt? Trim?
Unlike some of the Pentecostals.
Well, don't go down that
do.
road.
Oh.
Oh, you do have a picture of her.
Wow, it's super.
Now, is that an
You're
older
right,
Brianna
you're
or
right.
not?
Yeah, totally. Oh, wow.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Do you want to see any of those pictures closer up, Melanie?
No, I saw enough. That's good. You are right.
It's Brianna.
So, yeah, if they are following their restrictions, there is no hair cutting. And so you definitely want to be deep conditioning, like we just came out with the deep conditioning mask.
Yeah.
You want to be doing treatments, making sure you are using, good, healthy products because it's really hard to keep that hair healthy when you're not cutting and just trimming those ends.
Yeah, like if you looked at the second picture, for those of you who saw, Eric, can you bring that up again? If you look at that second picture, doesn't that look like the weight of it is just pulling all that curl out?
For sure. Yeah. And then it gets, scraggly and split ends on the bottom, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, but that's why they spend a lot of time on their hair and styling it and putting it up and doing all these fancy updos and everything, trying to make it look nice. But, all you can do is try your best to take care of it. Like I say, treating it, with good, healthy products that aren't going to build up on the hair and conditioning, treatments and masks and things like that. So that's what was her question?
That's any advice for this hot mess? It's not a hot mess.
It's just long, if you're able, I mean, you're just guessing that she's Pentecostal.
You're looking at the same pictures I am.
That doesn't mean
My guess is she's not cutting it.
Yeah. If you're able to cut it, of course, that would help. Is she a flight attendant? Yeah, see? Cute. She's got the cool braids going on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
that didn't
good.
look Pentecostal. She's wearing a sleeveless dress.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Depends. You never know.
So, but anyway, use leave-in conditioners. If you, like I was saying, if you can get a haircut, if that's not a restriction, that is definitely going to help. Those ends can be cut. Some layers can be put in there to give it lift, to give it volume, body. That's always going to help it look fresh and healthy. Definitely.
Okay.
And you don't have to cut all of it off.
No.
People get scared. I'm not like one that's just
Yeah.
like you have to do a big chop, whatever people are comfortable with. But just cutting the scraggly ends off, that's definitely going to help a lot.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
even doing a little face framing, and then like my system does curl sculpting. So somebody like that, if, like I say, they came in for a haircut, let's say she wanted to keep that length, I would go in the interior of the hair and sculpt out the curls to try to give it some lift and volume without taking that length away.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Great hair though.
Yeah. Wow.
Beautiful.
She's doing some
It's
cool
beautiful.
braids and
Yeah.
yeah, pretty.
Yep. Cool. Pretty. Let's see. Eric, can you show me the Melissa Rose picture? This is Melissa Rose.
Hey, Melissa.
I'm going to tell you what she has to say.
Cute. Her hair is gorgeous.
Well, I'm going to tell you
Love
why.
those curls.
Let's see. This is her first wash day after finally getting in for a much needed cut and color over the weekend. I don't have my gal style or dry at the end of my appointments since she knows I have my own preferred products. I just air dry, pull back, and leave it as is for a couple of days. We added more layers this time, especially in the back. My clumps are already so much happier. Only a couple inches left of old hair, and then I can work on growing out the length. My wash routine is raw curls cleanser and conditioner, the tiniest amount of Eco Slay rice pudding and orange marmalade, and she uses a 7-row Denman brush, shakes upside down and open palm squish to encourage the clumping. And then she hover diffuses about 75% fluff with a metal pick at the roots and finger coils out the cast and crunch. And that's what you get.
Looks great.
Looks great. So
Good job.
yeah, good job. All right. Okay. Aaron Greg Brown has a question. I'm embracing my gray, but half of them do whatever they want to. Any tips to help them clump with the rest of them? That's a tough one.
It is tough. Yeah, I don't have the magic answer for that because
What?
I don't.
That's what we're here for.
I know. I don't have my magic wand. Um, yeah, because the gray hair it does have a different texture than the rest of the hair, unfortunately. So, just trying to use something, you kind of have to decide. You definitely need moisture for those hairs, and I feel like a gel to control them. Maybe a cream and a gel because that's going to give you moisture and control. So, you just have to learn to work with it and see what works best. But unfortunately, it is kind of tough when you've got those different textures of hair going on, like a lot of us do.
Okay. All right.
Another, a great product though to add to your line, if you haven't already, is something like a pomade, which I use as a finishing product. And a lot of people kind of have forgotten about that, or they leave it out of their routine. And then they come back, and that is like the missing link for them because it has a hold factor to it. So it's kind of it's pasty. So it can help on dry hair, at the end of styling or on non-wash days, help to, kind of hold some of those flyaways down, those little gray hairs that want to pop out, or, like little baby hairs in the front that are coming back in, or for whatever reason. That pomade really helps, and it's soft.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Are we ever going to get the pomade back in?
Ask me that in about 3 weeks. Ask me that in about 3 weeks. I'm new here and would love some advice on how to best take care of my 2.5-year-old daughter's curly hair. It's mostly curly at the ends since my husband has curly hair and I have straight, but I find it often looks stringy. I recently started using Olaplex on her, but wondering what other products would be nice. I also use a detangling spray. Too much products for a 2.5-year-old, maybe? Make it more basic?
No, it doesn't sound like she's using a lot of
Shampoo,
product.
conditioner, detangling spray, and that's it? Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I
two and a
mean,
half.
well, I know, but okay, so that's just to cleanse and wash the hair and detangle it. You need that to get through it. I just had a client who was in the salon, and she's going through a similar situation with her daughter. They have that ultra coily hair. And, it's very hard to deal with. Even for us, we were laughing about, a wash day. It's like, I was supposed to have wash day today. And I was like, it's not happening. I'm going to have to get up early tomorrow. And is it such a big deal? I don't know. It's just kind of goofy that we're like, oh my gosh, it's wash day, like, and I told her we were laughing because now you even ask, is it wash day today? Like, is today your hair wash day?
Because I manage the laundry and the dishes, and they didn't put the right size water heater in our house, so I have to manage the hot water.
Yeah, and it takes longer. It's just a little bit of an ordeal, but my hair really isn't. It's very, I mean, it can be very simple and fast. But for little kids, you definitely want to use a detangler, absolutely, because a lot of them are traumatized. That's one thing they talk about when they get older. They're like, my mom used to
Pulling.
just pull my hair and hurt my head and rip through
Mm-hmm.
my curls.
Yep.
And so, first of all, getting the right training on, how to style the hair properly so you're not hurting them and you're not hurting their head and their hair, is important. And
You know what? That's something we could do when we get our other stuff finished is do an online class.
mm,
You know, grab some kids, take them over to the salon.
mm,
I know
sounds
your
fun.
favorite for who? I don't know.
Mhm.
But you could actually show some of those techniques and how to make it easier.
hmm And I do always say keep it simple. I mean, there have been people that bring their young kids in for a curly cut, and I'm not saying that's bad. They're starting off on, a good direction.
Mm-hmm.
However, is it realistic that they're going to go through all these steps? No, because, I mean, they're kids and, um, you know, our moms are usually very busy with other kids and everything else going on. So keep it simple, keep their hair healthy, wash, condition, detangle, and then maybe put just like, one product in, whatever, a mousse, a gel or a cream, something. Typically kids are going to be running around, they're running their hands through their hair. God only knows, food and everything else and paint and
You
everything.
could just do like my parents did.
Snots, whatever they get.
They just shave me bald all the time.
You're not gonna do that but
Oh
you
yeah,
know
to a
what? But
girl you wouldn't. Yeah.
but I don't like when people. I've seen this. I've seen this with a few mothers that brought their daughters in, and they traumatize their kids in a way. They make them feel bad for having the curly hair. Like it's so much work, and they don't know what to do with it, and they make them feel bad about their hair. It's crazy. So hopefully they can embrace it and learn these techniques so it's easier for everybody. Um, but yeah, just, keeping it simpler, keeping it healthy is going to be key.
Yeah. Okay. She did. All right. Melanie, you want to take? I got one more question here in writing. Do you want to take any live questions or no? What
Sure.
time is it? Oh God, have we gone that long? Are
Yeah,
we way
because you
over?
said, yeah.
Oh man. Right. Oh, we answered this question like 14 times. I don't have a date yet, but we're trying to figure it out. We need a host salon. Okay, you guys, you guys got to find us a host salon and we will come. Bus parking is even more important, actually. Melanie, will you be coming to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania?
Mm.
Maybe, yes. We'd love to. We need a host salon.
And no, I didn't get a bike yet.
And no, she didn't get a bike yet. Right. Exactly. Those are the two things. Oh, and I had to give Murphy a bath too. So that was a hot water management thing too. So
Mm. Raw pause.
she got a raw paws bath.
I don't know. Yeah, we don't. Is that even on the schedule? Like, is that one of our stops? Not, I don't
I
think
mean,
so. It's
we
not
can we
planned.
can clearly, yeah. I mean, we can, but I need a host salon. Because
I don't know if we can because we've already got all the months laid out for this
yeah,
summer.
but if we we've got a fall trip to North Carolina. I mean, we can go
Mm.
the little extra farther.
Well, we'd have to do one or the other. We can't just add
Yeah,
another one on.
yeah. Well, you know, get us a whole salon. We have not had anybody step up with a whole salon yet, but we've had plenty of stylists and people in general. You see, and that just proves it, Melanie. I mean, we've had this discussion many times, which is why we decided this year, especially with COVID and everything, that we would go ahead and and hit the road and start training. Is that's a prime example. Not enough trained qualified stylists
Mhm.
in an area. You know,
Yeah, and so what is this ruining? Is this a spoiler? But well, what we kind of decided is if I don't end up teaching a class, then I'll probably end up doing some hair. We'll just say that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. You know what we need? We need the fine folks at Miller Sale and Service in beautiful Elkhart Lake. Random Lake, Wisconsin, at the corner of Highway 57 and K, to put together that trailer for us, and so we can cut in it. The fine folks at Miller Sales and Service in beautiful Random Lake, Wisconsin. If you guys know that family, tell them, hey, you said you're going to help a brother out. Help a brother out. Anyway, and a sister out. Said we can use their shop, but we need the trailer. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the.
Okay, you said you were going to keep this show short,
All right,
and it's
that's
gone
it.
super long.
All right, then let's wrap it up. I took those questions, and that's it. So we'll keep the rest of them for next week. So
I have to wash my hair tomorrow. I have to go to bed early.
Yeah, it's already almost 9:00 Eastern time. All right, so thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. We'll get into show number 2, part 2 of the curly girl method approved / water soluble. What the heck does it all mean? And explain it to me in real terms. Part 2. We'll get into more of the guts of this and start really explaining it. We'll start talking about some of these individual things. No, we're not going to rip on people. We're just going to show you how things really are. And then possibly next week, if we get that far into this conversation, what I have in front of me in my dirty little fingers is 3 little files, and I'm going to kill some sacred cows, as I said before, and one of them is I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to give you some real insider information, because in these 3 manila folders that I have here, I have 3 contracts for 3 major curly hair product retailers. I'm going to show you just how much they charge a manufacturer to put their curly hair products in their store. So when you look at the price of a product, I'm going to show you how much of this is really actually getting to the manufacturer. And you're going to be shocked when you see it. And when you see a product like this, how big is this bottle? This particular one I just grabbed is 20.1 ounce bottle that retails for $3.99 at a large retail chain here in the United States. When you see how much this company actually gets in the end, it's going to open your eyes.
You want to go there?
Yeah, I do. With this stuff, I do. With these that I'm kind of pointing to in this group right here, yeah, they need to know.
Why?
They need to know because they're looking at something like this and they're saying, $3.99. That's $4. That's that seems like a good value. Well, it ain't a good value when you realize what you're really getting.
Okay, but I think that would be better to talk about.
It is. I'm going to be really careful about what I talk about in these 3 contracts. But that's the thing that people don't understand, is they're looking at that and they're saying, or something like this, they're saying, I'm paying $20 for this. I'm getting $20 worth of product. Oh, no, you're not. Oh, no, you're not. And I'm going to tell you more about that. Like I said, I'm not going to go into like extreme detail, but I'm going to make it clear to people so they can make better choices.
Okay.
I'm telling you, oh gosh, see, and I hate this because it sounds sales pitchy, but it's true. I don't care. You guys should really look at indie brands. I don't care what indie brand it is. You should really look at indie brands. Much better value. That's what I'm going to prove to you is value. Not so much money, but value. Anyway, did you have a fun fact you wanted to wrap up with? No, pretty much done. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Have a great curly week.